official. We're moving out of Austin, Texas. When I tell you that this was not on my bingo card for this year, this was not on my bingo card for this year. We had full intentions of staying in Austin for maybe another year or two, and plans just changed. For a little bit of context, my husband and I have been living in Austin, Texas for about a year and a half. I am from San Antonio, Texas, and he's from California. We made the move out here about a year and a half ago for his job and just to kind of try something new, get out of town. We were both just needing a fresh start and a change of pace and scenery, and we took this wonderful opportunity to come over here. Now we are leaving, and this all happened so fast. I will say, when we left San Antonio, my husband and I had a whole kind of like, I guess you would say, like a negative view of this city, just because we have both like gone through some like really hard things leading up to our move. So I definitely had more of a negative view of it. But living in Austin, I just came to appreciate my home in the city, and I took away those negative experiences and had to like remove it from the thought of my hometown. And I was like, I want to move back home. I think it wasn't until October of last year my husband and I had went down for a wedding, and I just told him, I was like, I need to be back here. Like, I need to be back here. I am not happy in Austin. And he felt the same exact way. It really is something about going back to your hometown. I feel like people have different views of going back to your hometown or trying a new city, exploring something, and I will never really understand the negative side of people saying like, well, you're just comfortable going back home, or you're settling, or you're never gonna learn this or this or that. Trust me, in my year and a half of living in Austin, I have learned so much about what I want in life, so much of like what I deserve, how I just want to see the world, how I deserve to be treated. I have also learned some really big life lessons living here during this time and just meeting different people, and I will say so much good came out of this move. So many positive things. So I can agree when people say, yeah, like try a new experience, try a new city. I think it is so crucial just for development and self-growth to try new experiences. That doesn't mean it's not okay to go back home. So we are officially moving back to San Antonio, Texas, and we're moving next week. When I went back for my birthday in January, I just fully came back home, and I was telling my husband, like, I think we should give it a try. Like, let's explore options. Let's see what we can do. And everything just worked out so perfectly. Like, everything fell into place. And I kept saying every single thing has to fall into place. And we prayed about it beforehand. We prayed about it several times. Like, we just said, God, if this is what you want us to do, we will only do it if you open each and every door. And each and every door opened, like, so perfectly. I just could not believe how everything was just orchestrated so beautifully for us. And we're taking a leap. We're moving back home, which is a little bit scary because Matthew's job is still in Austin, but thankfully there is going to be a way for him to get back to work where he doesn't have to drive. So everything, like I said, worked out so perfectly. I obviously can't share like a lot of details because some of those things, you know, are private for safety reasons, but I think in my last vlog I had said that we were going to be doing something exciting, and we were actually leaving the next day to go back to San Antonio and go apartment hunting, and we found an apartment that day. We applied for it a couple days later and we got approved. We told our apartments here that we were not going to be resigning, that we were going to be leaving. We were not prepared for this. We were not expecting this. We had even kept saying, if not now, maybe in the fall, because it's always best to kind of like rent an apartment in the springtime or the fall. So we were like, if it doesn't work now, for sure in the fall. While I am so happy to be going back home, I am going to miss a few different things about Austin, and I kind of just like wanted to go over a bit of pros and cons about the city and what I liked, what I didn't like. First, I want to go through the pros just so that we can kind of start on a positive note. The main thing that we noticed within like a week of being here is that Austin is such an active city. Everybody's working out, everybody's outside. We moved like right at the start of fall, and everybody was outside. Everywhere we went, people were running, exercising. There's so many parks. There's lots of like green spaces. And I will say, coming from San Antonio, that was a little bit of a shock, because if you lived in San Antonio and you were born and raised or even lived there for a time period, you will know right away that San Antonio is not very active. Kind of leaning into that one is everybody's outside. There are so many like green spaces, and there's just so many people always gathered outside. It doesn't matter if it's summer or not, we're still going to be out on the patio out in the summer. Another positive that like coincides with that is there are so many trails, so many places to walk, so many places to hike, so many scenic things. It is honestly such a really beautiful city. Another thing which is a plus for me is that this city is so dog friendly. There are dogs absolutely everywhere. Dogs are also welcomed everywhere, and I will say San Antonio was not always like that, but since I've gone back home this past year, I've noticed, and even friends have noticed, that it is becoming more dog friendly. Probably the biggest pro for me, which was a bit of a culture shock, is just how diverse the city is. Diverse in just different walks of life, different types of food, different types of people. Growing up in a predominantly Hispanic city was so different to experience living in a city where there aren't that many Hispanics. It was honestly a breath of fresh air. Another great pro, but it's gonna kind of lean into a little bit of a con, and I'll explain why, is there are so many great coffee shops, so many great restaurants. There's always something new popping up. I will save this for the con so we can kind of touch back on this. A really big pro is how young the city is. Austin is such a young, work-driven corporate city. Everybody here is young. I don't think I've seen a single kid at my apartment complex compared to like the neighborhoods we lived in or apartments that we had back home. There's kids everywhere. It's super family friendly, and Austin is just a totally different vibe. San Antonio, it's just a very young driven city. Now moving on to the cons, the city is so overcrowded. When you really look at Austin in a whole, the city is quite small. It is definitely expanding like with different suburb areas and different parts of town, but the city is so overcrowded, which goes into my next con. The traffic here is crazy. It is so bad. I thought San Antonio traffic was bad, but Austin takes the cake on that one. The traffic here is quite literally so insane that I don't even want to leave my house, which goes into the other pro that I had mentioned about so many restaurants and coffee shops. My husband and I see so many videos online about restaurants and places that we want to try, but we'll map it when we want to like leave for dinner or go have coffee, and it'll easily be a 45 to 50 minute drive, and that just turns me away. I feel like things mile wise are not that far. It's just the insane traffic that adds on another like 20 to 30 minutes, and it's just not even worth it at that point. The next con that also goes into that one is there are so many restaurants, but you can't get a reservation. Some of the like most popular restaurants here are booked out for like 3-4 months, which I can understand because they're like the most popular ones. But we've tried spur of the moment going to get dinner at a restaurant that we saw online, and we had a hostess literally say, "You're gonna be here for 2 hours," and kind of like laughed at us. And I feel like that's been pretty much every experience that we've had here. If you don't plan a reservation out at least a month in advance, you're probably not going to get one. Sometimes I've gotten lucky scouring open table or just popping on at random times, but more than likely if you don't book a couple weeks to a month out, you are not going to get a reservation. Another big con for me, which I learned pretty easily, is the homeless population here is really big, and I already knew this even living in San Antonio. Like when I come like, you know, do work stuff or come visit, you just instantly can tell like how like out of control the homeless population here is, which leads into my next one about the city not really being so safe. We do live about 15 minutes away from like downtown and like South Congress and all that, so we're not really in the hustle and bustle. But even if I want to go to Target or Home Goods or something, it's just not safe. You're constantly looking over your shoulder or seeing somebody sketchy walking around. Obviously, I know that there is homeless everywhere, but it is really on a different level here. Another con is that there is construction literally everywhere. We toured our apartment. We had such a beautiful tour. We loved our apartment. It was super close to Matthew's work, so I just felt super happy with it. There's a shopping center nearby, HEB. We fell in love with it. The day that we moved in, we noticed that there was construction going on the street right in front of our apartment. We had no idea. Obviously, they were not going to let us know that in like a month or two they were going to start construction, and it has been like that since we moved in. It has been like that a year and a half later. Obviously, they're working on the road. I'm gonna throw in just like another con. Just take it how you will. I have met so many great people living here in Austin. I have quickly learned that Austin is really just a place for someone to come, discover themselves, run away from something, escape something, whatever it may be. People are constantly moving here and moving out. It's so hard to build a community, make solid friends, because once you really get to like know somebody, they say, oh, I'm moving next month, or hey, I'm moving, or my lease is up, or I'm moving elsewhere, I'm going back home, I'm gonna try a new city. It's so hard to make like genuine friends and connections here because everybody is constantly moving. I think that's pretty much it for my pros and cons. Obviously, take all this what you will with a grain of salt because this is my personal experience. I will say even on some of these things, Matthew kind of agrees or disagrees because, you know, these are just like my thoughts and experiences that I have had, which have, you know, changed my mind about certain things and just living here. But the move was absolutely needed and I have enjoyed my time here. I quickly learned that this city is just not for me. I'm a person that loves change. I love change. But I also just love the comfort of things too. I love my home. I love the culture. I love the food. I love my friends. I love my family there. And there are so many more things that I love about San Antonio. And it's okay for me not to like a place, but I am so proud of myself and my husband for giving it a try and moving here. I really kind of wanted to give like a full 2 years of living here, but I think after a year and a half, I have seen what I needed to see and I'm ready to go back home. And even though we move back home, it's not to say that we won't try another city somewhere down the line or move elsewhere. I feel like my husband and I are very fortunate to be in this season of life that we're in where we don't have any kids. We don't have obligations. We really don't have a whole lot of ties holding us really anywhere. We don't own a home that we're having to sell before we move. We don't have kids that we have to like consider. So I'm just really loving this life that we have right now. You know, just being able to be selfish and make decisions that are beneficial for us and decisions that we want to make. So I hope all of this made sense. And once again, please keep in mind that this is my personal experience. If you've ever lived in Austin or you're from Austin and you have had the most amazing experience, I truly am so happy for you and I love that you have had the best time here. So just expect so many moving content and vlogs coming up. I'm a little bit backdated because we got approved for the apartment and everything happened so fast. We were literally in the packing process, which is why my room looks so empty. We have like everything is taken down because we're literally moving next week. So I will be having a few moving vlogs out. But if you found me living in Austin or for my Austin content, I hope that you would stick around and follow me on my San Antonio journey. And if not, that is totally okay. I just want to thank you for being here and for watching this video. My next video will be my apartment hunting vlog. And then I think I'm going to post like my last week living in Austin vlog. And then the moving vlogs will be coming, which is always my favorite type of content to watch and to film and edit. So stay tuned for those. But thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you so soon in my next one. Bye!